Today, I want to take a second to think back to the large-scale DLC announcement, because it was so vague and so early already, we really don't know anything about what this is going to be. All we know is it's more DLC, and we've had DLC before with Splatoon 2's Octo expansion, and everyone actually really loved it. So the question is, what is it going to be this time around with Splatoon 3? Well, there's so many different ideas it could be, but today I want to focus on one specific idea that a lot of people have been talking about recently, and something that Nintendo might be hinting at. Before we dive into the video, make sure you leave a like and subscribe to stay up to date on more Splatoon information, guys. We are almost at 200,000 subscribers. Help us reach that by the end of the year. We are super close. I know we can do it. So stop what you're doing right now, leave a like and subscribe. Thank you guys so much. It means a ton. Let's jump into the video. So Salmon Run has been giving us rewards for a while now, and it wasn't until this recent reward where we started to piece everything together and say, hold on, there's kind of a theme going on here. The new reward right now is the Brain Strainer, which actually could very well be the same thing that Mr. Grizz used on Captain Cuttlefish in the very end of the story. A lot of people think it could be a Back to the Future reference with Doc Brown's Brain Strainer. That's not it. We also got two other items in the very beginning of Salmon Run's opening, which was the hat from Marty McFly and the shades from Doc Brown as well. Now, I know some people told me that this could be a trio of movies thing that Nintendo is doing because it's just 3 movies and this is the 3rd Splatoon, and some people have also leaked the fact that there might be a Star Wars X-Wing helmet coming next or something. I'm not sure if this is true. We're gonna have to wait and see for that answer, but right now, the only thing I'm getting is Back to the Future, Back to the Future, Back to the Future. There's another thing I want to talk about. Remember the final Splatfest of Splatoon 2? It was Chaos versus Order, and obviously Chaos won, which influenced the main story and world of Splatoon 3 being Splatsville, a more chaos-driven area, instead of something with order, obviously. And to me, I don't know if it was just me, but I feel like Chaos versus Order almost felt like Chaos was more of the Wildlands, more of a beaten society, and that's kind of what I'm getting from the worlds and maps of Splatoon 3, where Order could have maybe been more futuristic. We could have got a utopian city with futuristic-looking buildings and maybe even weapons, but obviously we didn't get that. It's the one that lost to Splatfest. What if I told you the DLC could be influenced by that other side, Order? What if the DLC is based on futuristic events or Back to the Future, which would be super exciting. After all, we do know Pearl and Marina are in charge of this DLC in some sort of way. They have some big focus because they're on the cover of the DLC art. So what does that mean exactly? Something else I wanted to talk about as well is the final Splatfest itself, where it was Chaos versus Order, but the map is what I want to talk about. How it had little bits of reminiscent areas that we've seen in the past. For instance, the map itself looked very reminiscent of Black Belly Skate Park, with lots of half pipes and areas that looks very familiar of that stage, one of the very first Splatoon stages ever. And then obviously the background and obviously the main mechanic of this stage was an influence of the final boss of the Octo expansion, with giant paint canister bombs flying in for you to detonate for your team's color. So what if this was a glimpse of some type of time travel that eventually we're going to go on with Team Order? What if we're going to actually go to the future or back to the past? Now, before we dive into more information about that, I want to talk about the fact that this is the last Splatoon game of the story arc, and Nintendo did confirm that this is going to end the 3-game story that we've known and loved for so long, which probably means the very next game is going to be a soft reboot where we see new characters, new enemies, new villains, new stages, new maps, and a whole brand new part of the world, which is very exciting with a brand new story. That would be really cool, but with that said, that means that this DLC might be a cultivation of everything that we've come to love and know, and once again tying into that time travel theory. Once again, what if the theme of this DLC is time travel, where we can go into the future, but we can also go into the past, and through various different points in time, even alternate timelines? That would be really cool, showing us alternate different missions of what could have happened in our past, and also what did happen in our past. Hey guys, which would you rather visit? The future or the past? You let me know. I think I'd rather go to the past to see all the things that's happened, but the future could have some cool weapons. But also, while you're here, subscribe. I know you like the content. I know you're enjoying this stuff. If you want to see more of it, leave a like right now and subscribe. Do it right now. Right now. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Now, one thing I don't know is who we will be playing as. I don't know, maybe it's a new hero or all the old heroes, or maybe, you know, the current one that we've been using, our current Agent 3, and we get to go back through some of these past missions and they just look different, but we can recognize them. For instance, maybe some of the missions are on past maps from Splatoon 1, like Black Belly Skate Park again. Maybe we get to use some specials from those past games that we don't have now. For instance, we don't have the Kraken anymore from Splatoon 1. I would love to see that return. You could also see some bosses return from the past as well, and what would be really cool is if there was like a giant boss rush mode where we could fight all the bosses from all the games all at once as like a last kind of extra mode of the DLC. Would be really cool. But maybe when we go into the past, we go far into the past. Like for instance, the Inkling versus the Octarian war with Captain Cuttlefish and Sheldon back in the day would have been really cool to see kind of what they went through and maybe have a realistic war-like scene of the Inklings fighting these Octarians on this battleground. Would have been awesome. Dude, thanks to the alternate logs, we know kind of the creation and how everything happened in the very beginning of the Inklings and the Octolings and other marine life. What if we got to go back to that day where Alterna was found in that volcano and we get to see the humans interact with each other and we get to see what all went down and some of the catastrophe of the earth and maybe even play as one of the first Inklings or Octolings and kind of just go through that time period. Maybe we get to see the City of Order by going into the future and seeing what a futuristic city could look like. Maybe we get futuristic versions of some of the weapons that we have already and maybe one weapon that we don't even have, and that would be a cool way to like kind of show the Splatoon 4's new weapon early by letting us play with it and just kind of seeing like a very basic version of whatever weapon they have planned for the future of the series. That would be really cool, and maybe just show us some new like futuristic city with new people and new characters and a whole bunch of new things going on in that city. That would be really cool. But not just the past and the future, but what if we also get to go into alternate universes and alternate timelines? For instance, we could see levels inspired by different outcomes based on those past events. If we get to go do some missions in a different universe where Commander Tartar actually won and everybody's sanitized Inklings, Octolings, and marine life and they're kind of all under some type of brain control. That would be super creepy and we have to like sneak through the city in order to get to some type of area in order to progress through our own story through time. What if we get to play the level where Mr. Grizz won and everybody in the city and the world is turned into mammals once again and we get to see all the characters that we once knew and loved but in mammal form now. They're still kind of the same, they have their personality and everything, but they all just look like fuzzy, creepy looking creatures. That would be kind of cool, and maybe like missions based on that new world now would be a lot of fun. Even though it would probably creep out and scare a lot of people. I think time travel could be a really cool way to end off this current story of the agents in the Splatoon franchise, and one last hurrah to give us a look back into the past and also a look into the future and a look into events that could have ended a lot differently. I'm not quite sure what we're going to be doing in this DLC, and it might be quite a while until we figure it out and find out from Nintendo. But thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you guys have your own wacky ideas for a DLC concept, let me know and maybe a whole video could be dedicated to your idea. Just make sure you describe it in details and tell me what you want to see within this DLC expansion pack. Huge thanks to everyone that tuned in, left a like, and subscribed. You guys are the real MVPs. Thank you so much. You're really helping us reach our goal of 200,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I cannot thank you guys enough. Thank you for tuning in, and like always, I'll see you all on the next one. See ya, guys.